Okay, here's my thoughts and updates on today being 9/11 anniversary. I hope someday the people who actually perpetrated that are punished. I know God's going to punish them. The people who actually instigated it, planned it, and carried it out. Part of 9/11 was the greatest. You hire a bunch of, Arabs from Saudi Arabia. That country never got punished. They used the Chinese playbook on how to destabilize our economy by taking down the Twin Towers. That was in the Chinese book of terror. The Chinese, as well as, the communists, as well as the Islamic jihadis all around the world celebrated 9/11. The owners of the buildings also celebrated because, not months before they got policies taken out for full coverage in case of terrorism. Then in the bottom of the trade centers, you had a few $1 billion in bullion, gold and silver. And once that was extracted from the rubble, then no more searches for human remains took place. They pretty much shut down the thing, and all's good. It's all over, and just demo and throw it out in the ocean. So there's a lot going on with the Twin Towers. Building 7 that was also detonated, and no plane hit it. We know there was det cord and signs of detonation. There was people who worked in the building that saw what looked like top-grade detonation devices in the building in the weeks upcoming to it. A lot of the witnesses, where they end up going. There's a lot to 9/11. It wasn't just the jihadis. They were just a tool. I mean, imagine, here's some jihadis just blew themselves up in airplanes in the buildings, quote, quote, and within minutes, less than an hour, we had their IDs all over the news, knew where they were from and who they were and stuff. How does that work? There's a lot of things that don't add up for 9/11. And the people that they took out and the war that followed, sounds like the military complex is pretty much, and the owners of the trade towers are the ones that made bank. Follow the money, follow the power, follow the control. We the people suffer when the wicked are in control of things worldwide. It's always been that way. Now, Charlie Kirk, a young man, young family, awesome warrior of God and society and civilization. He was able to debate anybody, and that pisses off the people that follow Lucifer and the cult movements of communism, socialism, all the anti-immoral and anti-freedom groups out there. The anti-Constitution, anti-Bible, anti-Torah. Those people who are now thrilled and rejoicing at the murder of a good man. One that had open debate with anybody on about any topic. And he just uses science and common sense and the facts with them. And maybe that's why the liberal communist Luciferians on the left hate him so much. Maybe that's why they relish in his murder. That is a sign of mental disability. I just heard on the Beck show that some of the evidence came out. They found a rifle in the wood line around Utah Valley University. There, it's scattered woods. I'm from Utah now, and I've been up and around there a lot in the neighborhoods and things, and in my job and construction and just travel. And so they found his entrance and his exits, and I guess a handprint and a shoe print possibly. But they found a 30 cal rifle. Now that could mean it's a 30-06, a 30 cal, a 308. There's a couple rounds that fit in the 30 cal zones. One of the rounds is empty, expired. On the cases, there's 3 more rounds in the rifle, in the magazine. Most 30 cal rifles hold 4 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. or a 3-in-1 kind of a thing. But and so on them was written a lot of transgender propaganda and maybe pro-Nazism, neo-Nazi agendas. And so do we have another transgender shooter? Obvious sign of mental illnesses for those who don't even know what sex they are. Part of that is society's approval of mental illness, being taught in the schools from kindergarten all the way up into the major colleges, that are confusing people about what gender is. And then people making millions and millions of dollars from the drugs that you have to take to pretend that you're a girl or pretend that you're a boy. You can't change your DNA. You can cut your body parts off and put body parts back on from other genders, and it doesn't change your gender. It's a mental illness. And I know people close to me in my circle that have chosen to go that route. What's unfortunate is you can spend as many hundred thousands, millions, whatever to change. Imagine that you change your gender, but when you die, your spirit will be male or female, the one you were born with, because you are, before you come here, male or female. And you get a male or female body. This is a fact. When you're resurrected, and all will be resurrected before your judgment, before your creator, you will receive the body you were born with, not the one that you imagined or the one that you changed. And it's unfortunate that society has not only embraced but supported this mental illness. Just like the gay and the lesbians. It's a mental thing. And part of that on a spiritual level, the people that have exercised spirits from people that I know personally over the years, someone who thinks they're a woman usually has female spirits around him and female demons. And the opposite, the girls who think they're a boy have a lot of boy spirits and or demons around them. And these are the followers of Lucifer who were kicked out of heaven after the war we had there. And they're the ones that are putting voices and thinking, oh, you're a girl or you're a boy. And and then unfortunately the communist Luciferian left, who raise our children now in government-controlled school systems, have them from kindergarten on up, and they indoctrinate them. They brainwash them to be gay or lesbian or transgender now. They make money off it. And that kind of child abuse brings us to today, where people think they're transgender. They're a boy or a girl, and they got to change try to change their sexual appearance. They'll never change their DNA. It's not possible. And then, or I'm a dog, I'm a cat, I'm a dolphin. I'm a dinosaur, whatever. And then society accepts these people instead of helps them with their mental. You have a mental issue. Let's work through it. Let's get you some counseling. Oh no, let's embrace them. You can marry a tree. You can marry your dog or your cat, or you can marry a rock. Whatever. I mean, the world's gone crazy. Common sense doesn't exist anymore for most people. And biblically speaking, from the Old Testament, the Torah, and the Holy Bible, and the Holy Book of Mormon, which is the ancestors of my people here in North America, because we're a branch of that olive tree that, went over the wall. Okay, a branch of the house of Israel through Ephraim. That's our lineage. We came from the people who left Israel at the time of Zedekiah and Jeremiah. Now, that's what the Book of Mormon's about. But in there, whenever it talks about demons, possessions, and all this scripture, how do they pronounce themselves? Never I. It's always in the plural. We, they, them. The pronouns. The pronouns at the LGQXYZ, you name it, 100, 200, whatever imaginary sexual opinions they have of themselves, they always speak in the plural. Why? Maybe they're somewhat semi-possessed by demons. If that pisses people off, so be it. I'm trying to go down the spiritual avenue of this too. Why are people influenced to be gay, lesbian, transgender? a lot of it is from the crazy people out there who are trying to destroy families and destroy society. But also Lucifer's spirits, his goal, because he was punished and sent down to this planet with a third of the host of heaven. That's billions of spirits, people, who he was able to lie to and get to follow him, who are now punished and doomed to outer darkness after the final judgment. And their goal is to destroy every single human on this planet any way they can. Their goal is to destroy who you are as a spirit child, daughter, or son of our Father in heaven. To destroy Jesus Christ and his redemption power through his atonement over sin and over death at one moment. And the path he gave us, the iron rod to grab onto, to not be led away by Lucifer and their spirits. And this is exactly what we have. This is a spiritual war as well as a physical and mental war. If you're spiritually in a starvation mode, a drought spiritually, then you're more easily guided by these other negative influences for depression, for incorrect genderism. Then what our Father in heaven and our Mother in heaven made was a male and female. That's eternal. Everything else is just a lie. And God will not allow you, Father won't allow you to be happy and rejoice in our incorrect things, the sins that we do. None of us are perfect. We all sin, and that's why the Savior came to be our atoning person, make it possible for us to be saved from death and the resurrection and death. So we'll all be resurrected. So Charlie Kirk is going to heaven. He was a peacemaker. He spoke truth. The words of truth, like the gospel of Christ, is sharper than a two-edged sword. The wicked feel the pain. And if they can't debate you and they can't win the debates, what do the wicked do? They kill you. They put you in prison or they murder you. It has been that way since the days of Cain. You know, and maybe I speak too much, but this is it. This is how it is. I pray for the family of Charlie and all the others that were lost this day from 9/11. That the Spirit will be with them and comfort them. They'll meet their family once again. That's a guarantee. We'll all see our deceased relatives and children and family, and God's promised this. And in his house are many mansions. That's a whole nother discussion, just a topic on that. I hope they find the person who did this, and I hope they pay the mortal price and punishment for it. You know, having those transgender and other things on the rifle casings, that could also be planted there by the shooter, the assassin, to distract who the assassin really is. So was it a transgender shooter? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that a real assassin would plant false evidence to lead them to the left when they might be going a different direction. Okay, smoke and mirrors. So it could have been a professional shooter who is using transgender shootings as a way to take the spotlight off of him or her and put it on the transgender people too. So, I mean, there's a lot of rabbit holes we can go down. It's unfortunate. It happened at a university that is known to be globalist, Marxists, anti-constitution, anti-republic. The teaching staff, a lot of them are like that. They've invited a lot of negative influencers to their campus to teach the children on the campus communism, negative socialism, negative everything, anti-family, anti-God, anti-human, and all the anti-humanist things like man-made global warming, one of the largest Ponzi lies ever developed. It's called climates. We have it. It's changed. The climate's not changing. We have climate seasons that go back 100 years. The climate hasn't changed. The ice isn't melting more than it used to. polar bears are fine, and the world's not going to die because of humans. However, if there is climate change, it's caused by the wickedness of men, and God uses nature to punish the wicked and return him, hopefully in hope to return their hearts to God, to their Creator. And he has always used nature to do that. So maybe that's what global warming is, or global cooling. However you want to change it today, whatever makes the most money for the corrupt. Things have been prophesied to happen. Natural catastrophes, climate issues. And it's not because anything humans are doing or producing except for wickedness. So we can turn this around if everybody turns their hearts back to God. This I say. I send prayers to Charlie Kirk. I send prayers to the people that were assassinated on the bus in Israel this last week. That caused the Prime Minister Netanyahu to attack, finally, the head of the snake in Qatar. That's years past due. We should never give the people who are making millions and living as kings and queens in a nation that says we'll protect you from harm. If you stay here, you can murder as many Jews as you want, or you can murder as many Americans as you want, or Europeans. Just come here home and we'll take care of you and we'll protect you. Well, that doesn't work. And honestly, I hope the heads of the snakes were eliminated and sent to hell where they belong, because they lust for murder, for power, control, and they've enslaved the minds of their own people and raised them from youth to be rabid animals. And that's unfortunate. And that's what Hamas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, you name it, all the radical jihadis of Islam, whose goal is stated in the Quran and in their teachings of Sharia, is to enslave or to murder most of humanity. Why would anybody support that? Unless in your heart you have a black coal heart and you're full of wickedness and evil and Luciferian ideology. That's the only people that would support Hamas. That's the only people that would support this assassin of Charlie. And the assassins, the Hamas attack on the buses in Israel that killed many and wounded many. If you support such actions, you better look in the mirror, because you're what's wrong with the world. And it's time to change. It's time to turn to your Creator and learn how to find peace and be a peacemaker. Honestly, they find the shooter, state of Utah, death penalty. I think it should be carried out within 24 hours after the court date's over. That's how justice is done. You don't leave the snakes alive. They're a danger to society, obviously. And to all the politicians out there who have, for the last 20 plus years, under Obama, under Clinton's, all you politicians in the state and federal agencies and offices who have been crying for riots and blood in the streets, who have been crying for the assassination of conservative teachers and people like the talk show radio hosts and people like Charlie Kirk and so many others. You liberal media have cried for these murders, and now that they're happening, you go, oh wow, why is this happening? Well, you've begged the society, you've begged the mentally insane to do these mass shootings or single assassinations. The media and the politicians need to be held to blame, and the judges who are doing the catch and release, who now murder people on the buses or on the trains. Recently, those judges and the lawyers and the politicians who scream for violence in the street and the assassination of people need to be held accountable as well. At least they should be doing prison time for inciting the death of American citizens, inciting the death of teachers, inciting the death of cities and towns and riots and all that. You much to think on, don't we? Well, praise the Creator, who I know to be Jesus Christ. As a part Native American, part Irish and Scot and Dane, and Swiss. I mean, we have a lot of bloodlines mixed. So I'm human. Let us all be human. And try to figure out how to have debates, honest debates, like Charlie did. Okay? Don't kill him because you can't win the argument with him. You've made his voice stronger. And, if you wicked out there kill Trump, it'll just make us stronger. It won't change anything. In the end, the wicked lose. We know this. No matter what you do in your lifetime, if you choose Lucifer's ideologies, in the end, on the judgment day, you will be punished beyond your description, beyond your imagination. But remember, you've earned it. And those who follow good and seek to be a peacemaker, your Creator, even Jesus Christ, will help and bless you and your family. And even if we die by the hands of the wicked, you'll be blessed in the hereafter. For life continues on. We're only here but a moment. Eternity is unimaginably long. Okay, there is no end. And we all have a destiny there. But it depends on what we do here. Charlie did as much good and tried to correct as much falsehoods in a good way and in the world's education system. And he did a good job. He did a wonderful job. He was the defender of Israel. He was the defender of America and the defender of the Creator as he knew it. God bless and have a wonderful day.